last time on Oz Hour?
Okay, last time on Oz Hour, I'm not even going to talk about the beginning because I really don't remember any of it because it's all about the island. They're on a motherfucking island. They go there, they go to the other, or they're going to go to the other side to see if they actually are on an island. And they go, what's his face? I don't know, Flipper. I literally don't know why that's the only name that comes to me with this fucking creep. Fuck. No, Orc. Orc flies. He flies, and they go to the other side of the island. They meet this weird old man that's like a fucking bitch and so annoying, complains all the time. His name's like Pessa something. I don't remember his name, but I remember it has something to do with pessimistic, but I don't think that is what it is. It's Pessa. He's Pessa to me now. And now they're on the other side of the island. They're like, where's Orc? And then all of a sudden, a little zzz comes around, and he's fucking tiny because he ate these berries that made him small. And then they're like, oh, crazy. And then they ate another berry that made him big or something. I don't really remember how it all went down, but that's what happened. And then they're like, we got to get off this island because this guy is like so fucking annoying and everyone hates him. So they figure out a plan because these guys, they're little planners and they get shit done. And they're going to get shit done by leaving this place. And they make themselves small too, and they bring a bunch of the berries with them, and then they just fly away, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Hi there, and welcome to episode 54 of Oz Hour, the only place where you can hear everything you never knew about the wonderful and strange land of Oz.
That's right. With the help of some alcohol, we will be discussing each of the 14 books in L. Frank Baum's Wizard of Oz series.
Today, we will be continuing with Book 9, The Scarecrow of Oz, covering chapters 7 through 9.
We're your hosts, Blake Stone.
And Wyatt Swingham.
And joining us, as always, is our resident Oz initiate, the incomparable Hannah Aguirre. Just...
I don't know where I was going with that.
I was like, oh, she's sustaining. She's sustaining. Oh, and she went out.
She was doing that Sound of Music thing.
Do, re, mi,
okay, we already got the receipts on that, though, so we know who's winning.
We actually don't do that.
Hannah, you just played last time on, where you recapped what happened last time on Oz Hour. That took you 1 minute, 45 seconds to cover.
It felt faster.
It's crazy because not that much happened last
really?
episode.
I felt like everything happened.
But I'd say that you passed.
Oh my god. And that guy's name was Pessim.
Oh,
yeah, it's the first half of
so
the
that was
word
pretty.
pessimist.
I was right.
Yeah, his last name is Istic.
I like Pessa. I like Pessa.
It's a little more clever,
Pessa.
honestly,
Yeah.
or would have been. A little more clever.
Also, the orc's name is Flipper.
Yeah.
I know it is Flipper, but we don't call him that.
No, we don't. I promised to, and I never did.
Yeah. And I don't know. It just makes me think of dolphins.
Yeah, me too. I
So
don't.
I can't get it out of my head.
It is important to note that this came before, but yes,
before dolphins.
There's not a very young Elisha Wood anywhere near this book.
I wish there was.
Also, Pessim had already discovered the purple berries that help you grow, so he led the orc to them to help him. You did pretty good other than that. Yeah, it just ended with Trot and Captain Bill riding away in Trot's sunbonnet around the orc's neck.
That's right.
Yeah. I will just add, they have arrived at a mountaintop.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
they arrived somewhere else, and they've landed, and they've also made themselves normal sized again. And just to remember the berries.
And some berries were crushed.
Yeah, there was
One.
a crushed berry. They ate 2 berries, and they have 3 left over.
Okay.
And we'll
So-
get into that in this
yeah.
episode, too.
But just remember the berry system. They have berries that will make you big left over. So those are going to be carried with
So
them.
now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, I do have to say that before we started recording, Wyatt went ahead and whipped us up some cocktails. Tell us what we're drinking.
Yes. So tonight we are drinking Lemonade Rain. It is kind of like a lemon drop, but on ice. And the recipe for which you can find on Oz Hour podcast. I'm also realizing, does Lemonade Rain sound like Golden Shower?
Ew, let us slurp. That'll do. I like that. The weather is starting to turn into fall here in Oregon. That is making me miss summer a little bit.
Chapter 7, The Bumpy Man.
I'm the bumpy man.
Don't touch me.
Yeah.
So now that Captain Bill and Trot are back to their normal size, they start to take a look around the mountaintop that the orc landed them on.
Yep. Lots of like trees, like green slopes. It's like,
Okay, sorry. Just real quick, can I make a theory or guess?
yeah.
I'm gonna say that the bumpy man is Ruggado,
Ooh,
and I'm just
interesting
gonna
guess
drop that now
prediction.
so everyone knows what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So if it is him, I'll be like, yeah, bitch.
And if it's not, they'll know that, as always, you were thinking nothing.
Nothing up here, baby.
Nothing.
Oh my god. Okay, well that response has been recorded and we will be playing it back to you later.
Good.
So, as a reminder, we are on a mountaintop. So they've just landed. Like it's like nice. It's like kind of green, and they look up, or they look down into the valley, and like there's little houses, and there's also like little dots of people moving around. They think, but it's like way down there. So they're like, okay, like we're somewhere, like we don't know where. And they look up, and the top of the mountain is up there, and it's kind of just
Like a tabletop mountain.
yeah, it looks flat. Like not like a huge flat top, but like they can see the top and see it's not up at like a jagged point. It kind of just rounds off. So they're like, well, what's up there? Is there
Yeah.
anything? Because they need to sleep. They're like, we need to not be on a mountainside.
It's
Yeah.
getting late.
I roll around.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
you'd be all the way down.
Yeah.
The orc is like, yeah, let me fly up there, see if it's anything worth it before y'all put in all the effort to get up there.
Yeah.
So orc flies up, takes a look around, pokes his head back down. He's like, come up. It's pretty steep. Takes Trot and Captain Bill like a little bit to get up there. It's not so bad.
Yeah, because even with the wooden leg, Captain Bill is able to get up like
Yeah.
easy enough. He doesn't roll down. He trips on fucking everything else. So that's
well,
a
L.
nice-
Frank Baum is not an ableist.
No,
yeah,
he's not.
exactly. Because he didn't
Um,
even mention the wooden leg in that
Dude,
scene.
his-
I
Love
did. I'm
His
ableist.
stump must
Oh, it must be raw.
hurt.
He probably puts whale oil on it every night, and so now without it, it's like cracking.
Ah,
Ugh.
Sorry, everybody.
So they get to the top and they see like it is flat, like it looked like. It's also got this just really vibrant green grass. It's very lush up there. In the center of the space, they see this neat little house. Like it's just a cute little like one-room house.
Yeah, little stone house, and the chimney is smoking.
Yup. So someone's
I say
home.
at this point, I don't trust people that live alone.
I know. Remember
Yeah.
that man by the river with those two kids?
Well, it's like
Oh yeah, and the midwife.
like the last guy, he got banished, and that's why he lives on that goddamn
Yeah.
island by himself.
Oh,
Why is this
yeah.
guy living by himself?
Do you remember
That's
that house
right.
of invisible people that the wolf
Oh
was
yeah,
stalking?
the wolf went
Yeah.
around it 3 times.
That was almost so cool.
No
Yeah,
answers.
until it just went to nothing.
I really need someone to actually write about that. Like, please make a story
I need a,
about that house.
I need a 45-page short story
Yes.
just about that house.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, why it's on it.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
So they are walking toward the house because obviously, and as they walk, Trot is like wondering what country they're in. She's like, I wonder if this is really far from my home in California.
And
Oh.
that's it's like
I was like, yeah.
yeah. as we
I was like,
know.
wait, actually,
Yeah.
is she an LA girl? LA?
Let's say yes.
It's
LA.
it's Southern California. I read that somewhere else that I'll talk
Wait,
about later.
we're talking about Trip or Trot.
Trot,
Yeah.
Trot and Captain Bill are,
Yeah.
are from California.
Yeah.
Oh,
So wherever those
interesting.
caves were would have been like caves on the coast of California, probably like on
Which
the
also
Pacific.
goes back to our like, is Orkland a play on Oakland?
That's what
Yeah.
I was originally.
makes
I was
you
like,
wonder.
okay, Oakland. Oh my gosh.
So
Hmm.
mayhap, and maybe I mean we don't know everything. Obviously, we haven't read the whole book yet.
So let's say
And we're
that
never
Trot-
gonna know.
Let's say Trot and Captain Bill are from the Bay Area.
yeah,
Okay.
okay, I'm good with that. And so she's wondering that, and Captain Bill's like, well, like we've definitely traveled like farther than California since we left that whirlpool. Like we've gone a very long distance.
They aren't in the same
No.
world anymore.
Cap-
Captain
They-
Bill's like, as far as I'm concerned, we might be dead.
yeah, like they've
This might be
they
purgatory
have
right
moved
now.
through some kind of barrier between worlds, like
Yes.
something somewhere between getting sucked into a giant world-ending whirlpool and then being saved by mermaids.
Yeah, I was
half an
about to
hour
say.
ago, they were the size of like Tom Thumb.
Oh my god, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Oh, they were smaller than him, I guess.
They're dead.
So the orc is like, well, I've traveled almost the entire world looking for my home, and it is crazy how many little countries there are out there. He's like, I find little countries all the time that aren't even on the map. And Trot's like, well, dude, this might be one of those fucking places because we're on the top of a mountain.
The island wasn't one either.
Yeah.
I
don't think that's on a map.
I think everyone at this point has been to somewhere that's not on a map.
Yeah, you're not special anymore, orc.
Yeah, it's like, remember the underwater cave or the like underwater lake or
everyone has multiple things on their resume.
Yeah, a lot. We've all experienced trauma here.
We're gonna learn about some places that Trot has been that I've personally never heard of.
That's true.
So they make it to the house. Captain Bill knocks on the door, and almost immediately the door is opened by a rugged-looking man who has bumps all over him.
And we mean bumps.
Bulbous bumps. L. Frank Baum
Is
says...
it cancer?
L. Frank Baum says there's bumps on his
It's
head,
the
his
radium.
body, his arms, his legs, his hands, his fingers. No, they're big. So I would say his arm is probably 3 big bumps.
It's
he's like a little fat baby.
He's like the Michelin
it's giving
Man.
Michelin Man, but not symmetrical, and you can see it through his clothes. He's lumpy.
It looks like a curse.
Yeah, and at the tips of his fingers, there's a bump on each one.
Oh.
Yeah, so he has a really hard time probably
It's giving
doing
that one
things.
episode of SpongeBob where he has the inflatable super strong arms, and then he also works out his little finger, and the finger has a little muscle.
That's cute.
Yeah, I remember that actually. It's exactly like that, but a little different. But he is wearing a suit. But again, it has bumps and
gray.
It's weird
It's
looking.
poorly fitting because he's bulbous.
But
and
he seems really nice.
yeah,
though.
he
smiles.
He's a little off-putting, but he's got twinkling eyes.
Okay.
He's like, I'm the bumpy man. No, I'm just
No. He bows to them in greeting and says, "Please come inside. It's gonna get super cold out there once it's dark. Because winter is here."
he greets
They're
them.
very welcoming.
Very,
Yes.
very
And
welcoming.
he greets them by saying, "Happy day." Which
Yeah.
I am going to start saying to people. I love that. And fuck good morning. Happy day.
Happy day.
Oh, happy day.
Oh,
Happy
happy day. But Wyatt did say something very important, which is that the Bumpy Man does say, "Oh, close the door. Winter's upon us," which means that Game of Thrones is based on the Bumpy Man. And Trot points out that it is not cold outside at all. She's like, it's actually it's very warm outside. I don't think winter's coming.
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah, literally, the Bumpy Man is like, "Well, actually, my bumps can predict the weather, so that's how I know that the winter is coming. Get inside."
He's got
He's arthritic.
ESPN or something.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Those
It's like I have a
bumps.
fifth sense.
But they do predict the weather, and he
yeah.
says snow is coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Bumpy Man allows them inside. He tells them to make themselves at home and that supper is nearly ready. The house, like I said, it's just one big room with light, comfortable furnishings.
It's giving Munchkin style, where
Yes.
it's everything in the one big room. You have your fire where you're cooking, you have
Absolutely.
a table.
Okay.
Everything's also made of stone. The benches, the table, the
Yeah.
fireplace, the dishes, it's all stone.
Everything we say,
for
if we
whatever
don't
reason.
say it's stone, assume it's stone. Because
I
literally
guess because
everything.
he lives on a mountain. I'm like, why? But I guess that's all he has.
Yeah,
up
that's
there.
where he gets his resources.
I guess so.
So a pot's boiling on the hearth of the fire, and the contents smell delicious, sweet maybe. The gang sits down, and the Bumpy Man just starts stirring the kettle. It's giving the fucking Crooked Magician, honestly. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, wow.
Yeah. He's stirring with his hands and
and
his
he's
feet.
oddly shaped too.
Ew, you're right. Alfred
with
Baum
that?
always has men like this stir. He
Yeah.
always has men like
Always
this stir.
stirring.
Does this scene pass the bomb test? Is a crooked man
Oh my
stirring?
god. That's patriarchy, ladies. He is stirring, and the orc curls up by the fire, and the two humans in the group sit down, and they're like, "Oh my god, there's food. We haven't eaten actual food for days." So all they've eaten for the past 3 days is fruit and vegetables from the island, and one fish, and those biscuits and cheese. So they've eaten almost nothing. So they're just glad to be somewhere where food is being heated up before it's eaten.
Yeah.
And Captain Bill asks what country they're in because they obviously just landed. And the Bumpy Man is really surprised for some
He
reason.
is stunned. He says, fruitcake and applesauce.
Yeah. So another thing Blake is going to start saying.
I can see that.
But he's like,
that's my drag name. Wait, that's Wyatt and I's duo drag name.
Oh my god.
fruitcake and
Yeah,
applesauce.
sugar
Who's
and
fruitcake?
spice, fruitcake and
Oh
applesauce.
my god.
Ugh. Probably
You.
me. But the Bumpy Man is like, don't you know where you are?
And they're like, no, we just got here.
Yeah.
like we've been lost.
Like, just give us an answer.
Yeah. But his answer is that they are in the famous land of Mo. Which-
Trot and Captain Bill are both like, oh.
Okay.
Even though they have no idea what that is.
They don't know.
So we have Oz, Ev, Mo.
Yeah.
We also have Z. It's XI.
When was that?
It was during Ozma's birthday party. It was like
Is that
Giomara
the
from
doll
G.
people?
No, I don't think so.
Whatever.
Anyway, though, there's many lands, many worlds.
Yeah, and the
other
Bumpy
worlds.
Man is like, because Trot and Captain Bill are like, oh, because he got so serious about it, and he's like, oh yeah, I thought that would startle you, and it's like, okay, what the fuck is up with Mo? We're gonna
Yeah,
find
What's
out.
happening?
It seems like a pretty fucking delightful place. I don't know why he's behaving
Yeah,
this way.
it's like
It's
the
weird.
first like Moian that we meet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Momin.
moment.
Moment
Yeah.
is very friendly and welcoming, so I feel pretty good about it.
So the orc like asks the Bumpy Man. He's like, I'm sorry. So who are you?
Yeah.
Which, like, introduce yourself in this man's house, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Bumpy Man is like, gingerbread and lemon juice. Haven't you heard of me? I'm known far and wide as the mountain ear.
And just to clarify,
He's not the long-eared hearer.
Okay.
no, but also to further clarify, it's the word mountain space ear, like an ear.
Oh, well, I did not even get the double entendre.
So like as
Wait, what?
opposed to the single word mountaineer, meaning like a mountain man. Okay, yeah.
Oh, mountaineer.
I
Yeah.
read this book. I didn't even get
I was
that.
like, so he's related to the long-eared hearer.
Okay, I'm glad you guys are on the same wavelength.
Yeah, we're
Because-
together. Okay, maybe you're fruitcake and I'm applesauce.
The fuck am I?
But the mountain. So, this is crazy. So they take in this information for like a long beat, and finally Trot is like, "What is a mountain ear, please?" And the mountain ear turns to face them, waving his spoon around, and he sings them a song. Of course.
Oh yeah.
Are we doing this?
I can't do this. I tried to do it in my head earlier and I couldn't get
The
it.
rhyming scheme is weird.
I had to just read the sentences one at a time without a rhythm in my head.
Wait,
Should
you
I-
try it.
Should I just do like a speed? Okay, I'll try to sing it, but
You better try to sing it.
here's a mountain hard of hearing that's sad-hearted and needs cheering. So my duty is to listen to all sounds that nature makes, so the hill won't get uneasy, get too coughing or get sneezy. See how hard this is? For this monster bump, when frightened, is quite liable to quakes. You can hear a bell that's ringing, I can feel some people singing, but a mountain isn't sensible of what's going on, and so, when I hear a blizzard blowing, or it's raining hard or snowing, I tell it to the mountain, and the mountain seems to know. Thus I benefit all people while I'm living on this steeple, for I keep my mountain steady so my neighbors all may thrive. With my listening and my shouting, I prevent this mount from spouting, and that makes me so important that I'm glad to be alive. So I guess he talks to the mountain and keeps it from being a volcano?
That's the Sorting Hat.
In Ravenclaw,
Where dwell the brave of heart.
I was wondering why that sounded so familiar.
Oh my god.
because I read you that book.
Oh my god. But basically, yeah, like it's even hard to get when you don't rhyme it. But what he's saying is like he's up there, he like tells the mountain what's going on, and because of that, yeah, the mountain doesn't explode or like
So if it's gonna snow, he tells the mountain. If it's gonna rain, he tells the mountain. Because if the mountain was caught off guard, it might erupt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He keeps the mountain
Interesting.
steady. Maybe that also means he doesn't. There's no like mudslides or something, or like earth or
Could
landslides.
be.
I mean that would
Could
explain maybe
be.
like he's all like everything's made of stone. It's interesting.
It's interesting.
There's
and
an
the-
interesting ecosystem going on here.
Oh.
and well, the thing
Ecosystem
is,
is a fun word to use.
yeah, because it's like, is it real or is it just he wants to do that?
I know, yeah, like he's
Yeah,
crazy.
It's like
that's
the braided
true.
man in the mountain who's like, I make trinkets. And it's like, well, who for, weirdo?
Yeah, he's like, I boxed these flutters.
But
But the sorry.
Well, I just want to say, like, he finishes his song and then immediately just like turns back around, and starts stirring the kettle again.
Yeah,
Okay.
he goes to the
Like,
spot.
the orc is like, what the fuck?
Where are we?
Captain Bill goes, and Trot is like, so he crazy. Okay.
Yeah, Trot just accepts that he's a little bit crazy.
These are like the most like rational group of people that we've ever had in a book.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's like we have more than one real person too, because it's like I don't know, like the Shaggy
Yeah,
Man and
that's
Dorothy
true.
were both from Oz, and I guess like Button Bright was like from the real world too, but all of them together didn't make any sense. The Shaggy
Yeah.
Man
Yeah.
was like kooky, and Dorothy was I'm no nonsense, and Button Bright was an idiot. So
Don't know. Yeah. They're just like these people, they always have a fucking plan. They're always like thinking of 6 steps ahead, and then they run into crazy people and they're like, yeah, these people are
Yeah.
crazy and we have
Oh,
to get away.
you know what? It's also like there's nobody who's like, oh, I'm so frightened. Like everyone is just like, we have to do the
And they're
thing.
all on the same
'Cause,
page.
Like Dorothy, Zeb, and the wizard. Like Zeb was like, I'm scared, and Dorothy was like, where are we? And the wizard's like, I have a magic thing up my sleeve. You know.
Whoa.
Ew.
So, the Bumpy Man seems very pleased with himself and the little song he did. He pulls out 4 stone plates. He places them on the table. The Bumpy Man pours some food from the kettle onto each plate, and Captain Bill and Trot are starving. So they're like, "Oh, let's go, dinner time."
But Trot sees what's on these plates and she cries out in excitement. It's molasses candy.
Whatever that
Okay.
is.
Yeah, I was like, what the
I
fuck
can
is
imagine
molasses
what that is.
candy?
I just don't know if I've had it.
So I haven't had it, but I mean, like it's kind of like what is it, like a caramel kind of deal.
It's like a hard candy.
like,
Ugh.
but like you know how
Hate
like
those.
not like that though, right? Because they pull it, so it's like a
They pull it, but then it gets cold and hardens. I like those strawberry candies, maybe.
like a saltwater taffy, where like
Oh,
sometimes
you think it's that soft?
well, it's like where you can bite one and it's like, oh, this is super hard because it's cold. But then like if you warm it up in your hand and it gets soft.
Okay, all right, I buy it.
Ugh. I hate
Yeah, that
those
makes
types of
sense.
things.
But yeah, she's like, it's molasses candy. The Bumpy Man is like, yeah, of course it is. Eat it while it's hot. It cools really quick in this winter weather.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he takes a stone spoon and he starts scooping molten hot molasses into his mouth.
And he's going,
Oh my god.
yeah.
It's nightmare fuel.
He's like camels that eat cactuses.
Yes,
Oh my
exactly.
god. Yeah. Oh
it's
my
like
god.
you shouldn't be doing that.
This
Yeah.
shit, he just poured it out of a kettle. It's not meant to be eaten while it's. If it is in a liquid form to eat like soup, it is way too
I
hot.
want to
Yeah.
see the inside of that man's mouth.
I want to see the inside of his throat.
It's all stone.
Ugh.
All the way
He's
down.
Oh
stone.
my god.
Ugh.
Maybe.
But
Trot is like, isn't that burning you alive from the inside out?
Exactly.
you have to ask.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's like, we usually let that cool and get hard before we try and eat it. And the Bumpy Man is like,
It's a
well,
freak.
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's like, I can't imagine doing that. That's
He's like, I've never
gross."
lived in a world like that.
Yeah. He's like, do you want to drink cold tea? No.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, he's like, where did you even hear that? Like, and she's like, California. And he's like, well, I've never heard of that. And I know everywhere in Mo, but of course, California isn't fucking in Mo.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care about it anyway, and he just
he
keeps
says,
spooning
if it ain't in the land of Mo, I don't want to hear no Mo about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bumpy Man keeps just scooping this hot molasses candy
He's doing it
onto
on
his plate and
purpose
eating
now.
it.
He's making
being a
everyone.
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I know how this
It-
makes everyone uncomfortable.
There's like sticky little ropes all over him.
Oh,
like,
And Captain Bill is getting cranky to say the least, because in the last place there was only fruit to eat, and now here there's only candy. And he's like, oh my God, I thought I was
Yeah.
getting dinner, and now I'm watching this man eat hot plastic.
Yeah.
Go crazy.
Ew.
But Trot is like, hey, it's fine. Like, let's just like let the candy cool. We're gonna eat it. Like, I'll start pulling it. She keeps talking about pulling it because after it's hard, you like manipulate it so it's like soft enough to
So
eat.
she like softens it in her hands and then stretches it and then breaks off like
Oh, so she's a
bite-sized
candy maker.
morsels.
Yeah,
Because
she's
that's the who.
She is
where
Willy
did
Wonka.
you where did you get candy back then?
back
you made
then,
it.
Yeah, you only had candy at home.
Ugh.
I know.
Who can make the sun shine?
I would not eat candy back then.
Yeah.
It's covered in this little girl's hand.
I know. Which she did not wash her hands when she
No,
got
in
it.
the stone sink. I don't think so.
Yeah. But like she pulls it out. Like Captain Bill eats a few pieces. Like he's fine with it. The orc eats a bunch, and then like
He loves it. He's never
Yeah.
had anything like that.
Oh.
Trot eats her fill, and like they eat like a plate of it, which is kind of crazy. It's like they eat a
What
plate
is
of
the
candy.
orc's face again?
Parrot,
Yeah, big
Interesting.
parrot.
but like no feathers except for some on top of its head and a big plume.
Big
I
one.
Yeah.
just am not picturing that when I think of him.
I
But
know.
that's
You're picturing
fine.
a stork.
Yeah, I'm picturing a. I am picturing a bird, but with a long beak.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah.
His name is Orc, and he doesn't look anything like a stork. I don't get it.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
After they eat a bunch of candy after their long journey,
Oh my god.
Trot is like, "Hey, Bumpy Man, do you have any water?" And the Bumpy Man is like, "I'm sorry, what is that?"
He's never heard of water. He's never heard of water, and I'm
they,
like,
Yeah,
they have to get out of here.
How
Yeah, they
does-
really do. They got to get away from him.
how does he wash himself or
doesn't.
anything
He's
else?
Stone.
How does he wash between his bumps?
Yeah. Ew. All of his bumps are so.
Oh,
ugh.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bumpy Man. Yeah, he's covered in bumps.
It is the bumpy man.
And like Trot is like, "Water, you drink it? Like, there's no water in Mo."
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, like I have some lemonade that I collected when it rained yesterday."
What does that mean?
It means he pissed into a bunch of jars and he was to feed it.
We are drinking piss.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if Batman said, "I have lemonade," I'd say, "Let me see."
Yeah.
But
well,
I'm not doing the sniff test. It really depends on how it looks.
Let me feel the heat.
the crazy yeah. The crazy thing is that he does okay, well, Trot confirmed. She's like, "You're saying that it rains lemonade here." And he's like, "Yeah, it's really good." And he takes this like jar from off a shelf and it's
a ladle.
yeah, with a ladle, and it's full of lemonade. Which now that we're talking about it, I'm like, that's pee-pee.
Yeah, because actually they can't even see through the jar.
Yeah, it's just like a stone jar, a stone dipper, and he's like, "Yeah, here it's lemonade."
And
And
he
she's
just
like,
serves it
"This is
up
a
for
little
them.
orange."
Like, why does it
this doesn't
smell? Why
look
does it smell
right.
like molasses?
Yeah, she's like,
No.
"Did someone eat asparagus?"
So, Captain Bill and Trot both drink the lemonade. They like it. It's real lemonade. The orc will not touch it. He
This
is
is weird.
He is like,
Oh.
if there's no water here, I cannot stay here. Living things need water.
He knows
I'm
what he
not doing
needs.
this. Which, like, yeah, he does. But I'm also like, you know, there's water in lemonade, right? And Trot says the same thing.
Yeah, Trot does say that, and
Yes, Trot.
yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, well, there might be water in it, but there's also like terrible things in it that ruin it."
Yeah,
Also,
like
it's
lemon.
coming from.
The sky.
Yeah,
Something.
it's just
Somewhere.
nature- well,
Somewhere
somewhere,
above
yeah.
the jar. It's coming from above the
Yeah,
jar.
it
Yeah.
falls into the jar.
But yeah, the Bumpy Man offers everyone some blankets to roll themselves up in because it's getting late, and they just do. They roll up, get ready for bed, or they fall asleep. And Trot has kind of a hard time sleeping, and she wakes up a couple of times throughout the night. And every time she wakes up in the middle of the night, she sees the Bumpy Man just sitting in the corner,
Ew.
just what's that? Oh, what did I hear? Did I hear something? He's just he's being the
What?
mountain ear,
Oh
listening for something because he thinks the snow is coming.
All
Oh.
night.
my God, I would hate that. You don't even understand.
It's like, oh wait, shh, 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 shh. Oh, okay, And he keeps the fire going for them, though, so that's nice.
Yeah, and he's
They
I
gotta
don't think
go.
he's talking.
He
But
just is like looking around like a psycho.
yeah, like
He's
the,
just like, what's that? Oh, sorry, thought I heard some.
yeah, the firelight is just like flickering on his face, and he's like. But that is the end of chapter 7, the bumpy man. And Blake, what would you call that man?
The lemonade springs where the bluebird sings in the big rock candy mountain.
Cute. Chapter 8, Button Bright is lost and found again.
I literally like got tears in my eyes when I read that.
Oh my god! And we were just talking about him.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Oh.
So they are awoken suddenly by the bumpy man shouting at them. He's like, wake up, wake up. I told you winter was coming. I heard it with my left ear. Wake up.
And so
Only the left ear?
That's where
yeah,
I
I
heard
guess
it.
so.
It was coming from that way.
Okay.
But he told them that it's snowing, and he knew it would be snowing. And Trot is like, well, I've never seen snow in California.
Why? Oh, yeah, because she's from fucking California.
Yeah.
Let's like talk about that all the time now.
Yeah, we get it.
Chapter 8.
Yeah. But yeah, she's seen it from afar, like on the mountains, but never like here or like never like up close. And
Bumpy
he's like,
man's like,
"We're
you're on a mountain.
Yeah, like they're at the top of a mountain. Of course, it's snowing. And she looks out and she sees huge white flakes coming down from like the sky, but they look a little strange.
Weird shapes, kind of like bouncing when they hit the ground.
It's weird, but she's never seen it before. And she asks if it's really snow. And the bumpy man is like,
You bet your sweet ass.
yeah, like,
I don't believe him.
and I'm going out to shovel it. Like,
You want to
come
come?
on.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah,
You're
I'll
shoveling it
come.
already?
I know, it's
I
still
know.
snowing. I was thinking the same
I'm like,
thing.
wait till it's done.
So she's like, yeah, let's go. I want to see this. They go outside. When the bumpy man opens the door, Trot is like, it is hot out here. It is not cold outside. This can't be snow.
I feel like this whole thing is giving AI.
Dude,
It
it's
is.
giving me it's giving
Look
me
at
like,
their hands.
yeah, how many fingers?
Literally.
It's giving me like over the garden wall. But
Placebo.
they go outside. Trot's like, it's hot. And the bumpy man is like, well, of course it's hot. It was cold last night. That made it snow. But when it's snowing, it's crisp and warm outside.
Yeah. And he's like, the snow itself, in fact, is crisp and warm. So Trot gathers up a handful of this snow. She looks at it, and then she looks at the bumpy man, and she says, this is popcorn.
And he says, the doi. That's what snow is.
No. No, it's not.
I think you meant to say, Mo.
Mo.
But at this point, Trot is like, this is not how snow is in my country. Like, that is not right. And the bumpy man gets all pissy and he's like, yeah, well, like, you're in Mo, so do as the Momen do. You have to take your popcorn snow and you fucking eat it, because that's what
Yeah.
snow is here. Are you
When
happy?
Mo gives you popcorn, shut the fuck up and eat it.
What?
Yeah. And then he goes and starts shoveling the path. And so Trot sits down and starts eating popcorn.
She's
I
having the
mean,
time of her life. It's
eat
warm.
something.
It's perfectly salted. It's buttered.
Yeah.
Captain Bill comes out. He's like, what is this stuff? And Trot's like, it's Mo Snow, which I guess means it's popcorn.
Yeah. And she's like, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. So they just plop down. They're sitting in
gotta
a
eat.
pile of popcorn,
Yeah.
which honestly
They go
sounds
crazy.
awesome. It sounds
Yeah.
like disgusting and
Yeah.
awesome.
If you
I'll
accept
take
that
the
it's
ones from the top.
exactly. As
Yeah.
long as you accept
It's
that it's
also-
clean when
it's
it comes from the sky, then you're
buttered.
good.
It's
I know. I was like
buttered.
buttered. I'm like, oh my god, it's
Yeah,
gonna be
what's
so greasy, like on the
buttering it?
ground and stuff, and like if
yeah.
it falls on you. But they have not eaten. Like, I mean, obviously they had the hot toffee candy last night.
Yeah.
But this
No,
is like the
this is
closest
the
thing to real
closest
food.
since they ate since they shared that fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So the orc comes out and he starts eating popcorn. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah. He's like being greedy with it. The popcorn continues to fall. It's darkening the sky. There's so much of it, which to your point, why the fuck is the bumpy man shoveling right now.
Yeah.
Because his path is getting filled in behind him, and he's like shoveling a path down the fucking mountain. He's gone like a mile.
Yeah,
Oh
for
my
some
gosh.
reason. Well, maybe not a mile. But,
Quarter mile.
well, because the only reason I think it's not a mile is because all of a sudden the friends hear the Bumpy Man shout.
What's he shout?
He shouts, "Mince pies and pancakes."
Yeah, he does.
There's someone buried in the snow. And
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
A dead body?
There's a body in the snow.
Bodies in the snow. The bodies in the snow.
Bodies in the. Trot and the others are like, body in the snow. They start running
Yeah.
because you run toward that.
yeah, and they're like ankle deep in popcorn, which is disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
just like, I don't know, something about the food and the dirt is grossing me out with the shoes, which is probably reasonable. But
Out of the snow in front of where the Bumpy Man has been digging is a pair of legs with ruby slippers and striped socks.
What?
I lied.
Oh my god.
There are a pair of legs.
it's just two legs.
Okay.
And they look
Okay.
normal.
I was like, where's the house?
You gave me the reaction that I wanted, and then I got overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do with it.
I was
You
like,
don't have to be
when
honest.
are you gonna come in?
I lied.
That's why I do the trixies here.
That's why it's job. I'm
No.
just a boy. Okay. So Captain Bill is like, oh my god, like this guy must have been lost in the storm. Like, let's pull him out and see if he's alive.
So they each grab a leg and they pull him out, which, I mean, come on, it's just popcorn. Like, they could have just
Yeah,
brushed it off
it's not
of him.
heavy. Yeah.
But it's just a little boy. And he's wearing a brown velvet jacket, knickerbockers, brown stockings, buckled shoes, and a blue shirt with ruffles.
really,
And his mouth is full of popcorn.
he's chewing.
Yeah.
it, and
and
both
both
of
of
his
his
fists
hands are full of popcorn.
Oh my
And he just like
gosh.
his eyes are wide open, and he just stares up at them like.
Oh.
And then he finally swallows and he says, "Get my cap."
and stuffs more popcorn into his
Sailor
mouth.
hat?
Yeah, oh my god.
I
yeah.
wish he's not like. It doesn't sound like he's dressed like a sailor here. Let's say his cap is the sailor.
I hope
hat,
it
though, 'cause
is.
That's my button.
I can't believe I remembered that, but it
That's
also
so
is just so
funny.
cute.
Captain Bill and Trot both start cracking up laughing. They're like, "What the fuck is this?" While the Bumpy Man like is shoveling in the snow to find the cap.
And the orc
Aw.
is like, "Who is this?"
Trot does something fucking insane right here.
Yeah. She explains that this is Button Bright, of course,
Of course.
and that whenever someone comes across a lost boy, it must be Button Bright. But she doesn't understand how far or how he has gotten so far from home. So
the
you already look disturbed by this information.
Don't get too comfortable.
I'm just
Because
like,
there's a lot. So you'll remember that, like, at the beginning of the book, L. Frank Baum wrote that foreword that was like, hey, everyone's wanted Captain Bill and Trot to come into the land of Oz. And so this is the story where I introduce them to the land of Oz. So I think we're being led to believe that we're getting a history from another Captain Bill and Trot book in this one, which obviously we don't have that information. We've never read it.
so Button Bright might be
So
a
because
character.
Trot
Well,
says,
yeah.
she's like, because the orc is like, well, where does Button Bright belong? And Trot's like, well, I think Button Bright's home used to be in Philadelphia, but I don't think he belongs anywhere. Which, like, why would she know that? And Button Bright's like, that's right, which is the opposite of don't know.
That is.
So you're being for sure about something. I've never heard that.
No, he's changed.
The orc is like, everyone belongs somewhere. And Button Bright's like, not me.
And
More words.
but you know why though? Because he
Why?
tells us why.
This is going to piss Hannah off.
So he says, "I'm halfway around the world from Philadelphia, but I lost my magic umbrella that carries me anywhere in the world."
We got magic belts, we got magic books, we got magic pictures, we got magic umbrellas.
And so
We're just creating more and more.
yeah. And because he's lost that, he can't get back home, which means that he has no home.
How the hell did he get a hold of a magic umbrella?
Well, so here's something else.
Some book we don't know about.
I'm going to share something in a moment that's very high level, but just to fill in some
This
blanks.
is only need to know, so listeners, push pause. We'll catch you later.
But so Button Bright says, yeah, like I'm lost, I can't get home. But Trot, this place is fucking cool. Like, it's great. I love being here. Like, I don't want to leave.
Bumpy Man is like, he got the cap, gives it to Button Bright, but Bumpy Man is like, do you two like know each other or something? And Trot is like, oh yeah, Button Bright and I once made a journey together to Sky Island.
Hannah, what do you think that means?
An island in the sky.
That's not a bad idea.
There is a castle on a cloud.
But Trot says that they're good friends. And I'd now like to reveal the background information that will just help us all understand what's going on a little bit.
Okay.
So Sky Island was a children's novel published in 1912. Sky Island is the sequel to the 1911 novel The Sea Fairies. The Sea Fairies is where Cap'n Bill and Trot are introduced as characters. L. Frank Baum wanted those to take off and stop doing the fucking Oz books, but it didn't take off, so in 1912 he released Sky Island, which was Cap'n Bill and Trot's sequel that pulled in Button Bright and Polychrome. And so he did that to try and make it take off, and then it still didn't really take off.
I want to read the Sea
So we're reading those
Fairies.
books.
So
We
now
have to.
this was published in 1915.
14, I think.
14. Okay, so this is years after those books didn't take off, and now he's taking these characters back to Oz.
My God, guys, we're doing that.
Whoa.
We're doing that. And I'm also so curious too because we know that Trot was blessed by the fairies. That must happen in the Sea Fairies.
This is giving
Yeah.
MCU right now.
It is. I know. It
We're
kind
about
of
to
made me
get-
angry when I was reading it earlier because I was like, why does it have to be an expanded universe?
Yeah,
know.
it's Oz CU.
Yeah. Oh my
we
God.
have enough to do here with Oz Hour, and now you're giving us the fucking Sea Fairies. But no, that's awesome. Thanks for doing that research.
Yeah, I didn't learn any plot points, but I was like, I just need to understand what is happening
Well,
because when they
maybe
say
later
Sky Island,
down the road we'll get into the plot point.
yeah,
maybe, yeah.
seriously.
But the Bumpy Man is like, oh, so you two are friends. Well, then I'm glad I saved that guy's life. And Button Bright is like, much obliged, Mr. Nobbs, but I don't think my life was in any danger. If anything, you saved that popcorn from getting eaten by me. And then he says, hey, Bumpy Man, why did you dig me out? And why are you so bumpy everywhere? Button Bright is
So
a talker.
Yeah, I was like, so he's a little
But I guess he
yapper.
was fucking 3 years old when we had him before. He must be 6 now.
Yeah, he always used to question things though,
Oh
but
my
now he
God.
does it with
Now he
his
knows
whole
it.
That actually
voice.
was so funny when he would do that.
Yeah, and so
No.
he's giving that energy now still. But the Bumpy Man looks at himself and he's like, I was born with these bumps, and as far as I'm concerned, this is a gift from the
The
fairies.
Sea Fairies.
No, just well, it just says fairies, maybe sea fairies. But he's like, I think they make me look tough, and also I should look like this because I serve the mountain, and I'm Bump. And-
Button Bright's like, all right. Goes
And
back to eating.
yeah, then he just eats his popcorn up.
No more questions.
But at this point, it has stopped snowing, and all these birds are flocking down, and they are just going crazy on this popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
They're just choking it down, they're you wouldn't believe.
Jeez.
And the
got,
orc is ugh, God, this
Yeah,
is fucking gross.
He's just giving them stink eye and calls them dreadful.
Yeah.
And Trot's like, shut up, Orc, they're beautiful. And Orc is like, harumph, and goes inside and pouts.
Yeah. And for some reason, Button Bright reaches out, and there's a bird nearby, and he grabs his leg. And this bird
he
is
let
huge.
the intrusive thoughts away.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
And so he grabs the leg, and this bird must be like the size of an eagle, takes off, and Button Bright like gets like pulled off the ground for a second.
And that's the last we ever see.
I know.
Yeah.
This is just his cameo.
The chapter is actually called Button Bright Gets Found and Lost Again.
Yeah. Oh my god. But then he falls off, and the bird just like settles down close by and keeps eating. So like the bird isn't really scared.
It doesn't care.
So I don't know why that even happens.
Yeah, but it showed us that they're strong enough, and it does give Captain Bill an idea. So he reaches into a sou'wester, he pulls out some strong string, and he sneaks up to about 20 of these big birds and ties string around their legs and fastens the string to a large stone so that they're held prisoner, basically.
Yeah. So
why
he's
he does
imprisoned
this
these
is
birds
anyone's fucking guess.
Do they talk?
No.
Not yet.
So
I mean,
so
when
the-
Button Bright grabbed one, it just tried to fly away.
Oh my
So
gosh.
But the bumpy man is like, when they're done eating the popcorn, they're going to want to fly away, because they're birds and they're going to be pissed. Like, why did you do that? And Captain Bill is like, hey, they're not going to like it, but it won't hurt them as long as they don't panic. It's like, you just suddenly realize that your foot is chained to a boulder and see how you
yeah,
react.
it's like they just need to keep calm, and it's like, well,
how about
you
how about you
imprisoned
answer
them.
the question and say why the fuck you did that?
Yeah,
Their
you should
entire
imprison
life
her.
has actually changed now from this point on.
So the gang eats some popcorn breakfast, heads inside the house. Button Bright is like holding Trot's hand because apparently they're old friends. And Captain Bill and Trot are pretty happy to have Button Bright added to the gang now because he's chill, he's cute, he's helpful. In the house, Button Bright is looking the orc up and down with interest, and he's like, which way does your tail twirl? And the orc's like, it can spin in either direction. And Button Bright let the intrusive thoughts win again.
Oh no.
And he reaches out and he like tries to like whirl the orc's tail.
Yeah,
And the orc is like,
His hand's gonna get cut off.
the orc
I
is
know,
like, hey,
seriously.
don't do that.
yeah. He's like, that's my tail. Like I get to spin it.
Yeah.
And
Fair.
Button Bright's like, okay, we'll go out and fly, and then like
Yeah.
I just want to like see what your tail's doing. And the orc is like, like I really appreciate that you're interested in me. That's cool, but like I actually only fly when I have somewhere to go, and I might
Yeah.
just keep on going. So I'm not gonna fucking do that, kid.
Yeah. You're about to chase me off. Is what you're about to do.
Yeah.
So Captain Bill is like, hey, speaking of flying, how are you thinking of getting out of here, orc?
And I'm like, when did the orc become in charge of getting them
Yeah.
out of anywhere?
What the hell?
Like,
What the heck?
why is that? Why is he being
And also,
consulted?
why are you asking this fucking question? Why are you asking this question when you just chained up 20 giant birds that lifted a little boy up?
Yeah, because it
If
seems like you might have like a plan.
It seems like
know.
that would have been his plan, but the fact that he's asking this question, I'm like, why did you chain those birds up, dude? Like, what the fuck? So Captain Bill asks the orc again. He's like, so how are we supposed to get off this mountain? And the orc thinks about it, and he's like, dude, I could carry the boy or the girl, but I cannot carry all three of you.
Wait,
Like, that's not
How many
happening.
berries do they have left?
None of the shrinking ones, only the growing ones. And they kind of talk about that. They're like, maybe we shouldn't have eaten those purple berries so quickly. And Trot's like, maybe we should have just fucking brought more.
The
of
whole
the
more of
shrinking
each.
ones.
Yeah, 20
yeah.
of each. Actually, they should have brought.
But then Captain Bill thinks to himself quietly, and
I wonder what he's gonna come up with.
yeah. Any
Sorry.
ideas, Hannah?
Okay, this is gonna be crazy.
Oh, then it's wrong.
Well, I just want to say it. I think he's gonna take those 20 birds and like do an up situation.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I don't know how that's gonna work because it's not going to. But I
No,
just
I
wanted
get
to
that.
say it and get it out in the air so everyone knew what I was thinking.
That's
so
good.
Captain Bill's like, I think I have an idea. And everyone's like, what? At that exact moment, you hear these shrill cries coming from outside, and the voices are like, what's going on? Let us go. Bumpy man, help us, help us.
Oh my god, it's the birds.
Trot goes and looks out the window, and she's like, Captain, those birds you caught can talk. The Bumpy man is like, yeah, birds and Mo know how to speak. What the hell? And turns around to Captain Bill, and he's like, why the fuck did you capture those birds?
Yeah, can we
Yeah,
get
like,
some answers?
He's like, now that you know they can talk, will you let them go? And he's like, I'm gonna go talk to him. And he says, hey, like, everybody listen. And they all just shut up at once. And he's like, okay, we're lost in this country. we really want to go anywhere else because we do not want to be here, I have a huge favor to ask. Would 3 of you guys be willing to carry me and my 2 friends like away from here and help us, basically?
Okay, so he is gonna up them in a way.
But one of the birds is like, you must be crazy, old man. We are the size of eagles.
Yeah, because they're not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah, we can't carry Button Bright. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, not even one little child.
And Captain Bill is like, here's the thing. You 3 of you agree to come, I will make you big enough. And they live in a
Oh, I
magic
didn't think
country.
about that.
And so they're like, this guy can definitely do that. And they're like, if you make us big, are we going to be able to go back to our regular size? And Captain Bill's like, don't know, probably not.
Yeah, he's like, probably not.
Yeah.
I think that's it. And the birds.
I mean, they're gonna be birds of prey now.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. And so these birds are already huge. Like,
They're like golden eagle.
There are different
Okay.
types of birds, but like, there are huge birds.
He
They're decent
specifically
size.
captured like the 20 biggest.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, you're right. And so the birds, though, are like considering. And then the one who had like asked one of the questions was like, I'll do it. And then there's like a second volunteer and a third. And you can tell that there was a lot of them that would have done it, that they like were interested in like being bigger forever. But Captain Bill was like, okay, I got 3 of them.
The rest
cool.
of them can go.
Cut everybody else loose. They all flew away. And then he just had those 3 remaining. Turns out they are cousins, which is kind of cute. And in the illustration, they all wear pointy little hats.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that.
It's cute.
Trot thinks that they are the most beautiful bird she's ever seen, so I'm a little jealous. I want to see them.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Bill takes a little wooden box out of a sou'wester. He gave each of the birds a purple berry. They eat them, and within seconds, they start to grow. And they're like growing in size so quickly that Trot is like, I don't think they're going to stop.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. But they do stop eventually.
Okay.
But they're the size of ostriches, so
So
they're
they're
probably like
Bigger
6
than
feet
the
tall,
bigger
like,
than the orc.
huge.
Okay.
Like yeah.
Honestly, probably frightening, but also gorgeous.
I'm sure. Yeah, they're like I mean, an eagle that
I'd
size.
like to see it.
Yeah.
I'd
A
be
7-foot bald eagle
I
would
would
be crazy.
literally piss myself.
Yeah,
But I
like you
just
can't
wanna
even
see
control.
it.
I guess it's like a dinosaur.
Like,
I want to see
what
their
did-
wings out.
What do they feed that thing? Beavers?
That's something that I've been thinking about because before something I thought was, okay, give the fucking orc a big berry or a purple berry and just like have it carry you around.
He doesn't want to be big forever. Then.
Well, I know, I agree. I agree. But the thing I also kept thinking was like, well, then they have to feed him. Like, and he's already hungry. What's he going to eat when he's 3 times as big?
Mhm.
He's going to eat
Humans.
them. Exactly. Like, it's going to be, he will be our overlord.
Yeah.
The
All hail
birds,
orc.
they grow enormous. It's like in Space Jam where the I don't know, little nerd duck things touch the magic basketball and they turn into the Monstars.
Oh,
You know,
I
and
do
they're like,
kind of remember that actually. Ew.
But it's faster. The birds love being enormous. They're like, hey, check me the fuck out.
Okay, they're into it.
They think it's cool. And it is cool.
Trot,
Yeah.
Trot is looking at the big birds and she's like, cool, 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 cool. How are we going to stay on their backs without falling? Because like they're the size of ostriches, but they're not shaped like ostriches. Like you know, you can picture sitting on the back of an ostrich,
Yeah.
but they're shaped like eagles. They have flat backs.
Yeah. And when their wings are flapping, you fall off.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
So Captain Bill is like, we're not going to sit on their backs. I'm going to make swings, and we are going to sit on swings underneath them, which I'm like, probably the least safe
That
option.
seems terrifying.
Tie me to
I would
it.
want to be
Yeah.
in their talon.
I don't want to be swinging under it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I want to be in their talon, but
See, the thing about the
I
town
want
is
to be
like,
secured
yeah, like that's the thing.
because
Is
they
like,
could let go at any time.
Tie me to its leg.
but that's what the
Yeah.
swings. Well, but like you're just sitting in the swing. It's
Yeah,
tied
I
to
want
the
to be
leg, but
fa-
you're
I wanna
like,
be
I just wanna be
fast. I wanna
secured.
be fast.
like you want a seatbelt.
Because
Yes.
bitch, I'm clumsy.
Oh my god, I know.
Yes. So the bumpy man gives Captain Bill an old gray suit. Captain Bill cuts the suit into strips. He twists the strips up so that they're like bulky and strong, and he ties those to the bird's feet to make little swings below them. Button Bright does the trial run, and it seems to work fine and safely. So the birds are like, cool, this seems to work. Where do you want to go? And Captain Bill is like, your job is to follow the orc. The orc is the leader. The orc flies, you follow. The orc lands, you follow. That's your job.
And the birds love that.
Whoa.
They're like, we'll fucking do that. That's so easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
little militia.
And so Captain Bill,
He's a sailor.
Oh,
yeah,
that's true.
he knows how to. Yeah,
He's giving orders.
Made ropes. He's crazy.
Yeah.
He goes
I
and-
love these guys.
Yeah,
they're smart.
They're making a fun book. I was honestly thinking when I was preparing for this episode in particular, actually, I was thinking just like of all of the Oz books, I kind of want to see this one as a movie.
Oh yeah.
Like the most because it's so just like weird fairy tale, and I want like a Wes Anderson movie of this.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
But so then Captain Bill goes and he checks in with the orc to make a plan.
And this is interesting because the orc says that when he was on his way up to the mountain here, he noticed that there was a huge, broad, desolate desert, like just like right over there, like just like in one of the directions.
Didn't seem like there was anything living on the desert.
Yeah. And Captain Bill is like, well, we're going to avoid that because
touch that
obviously
desert.
we're going to avoid that.
Yeah, I wonder. I've never heard of a desert like that before.
A deadly one?
No, I don't. think I've heard of
Interesting. I wonder if they can go under the desert.
Well, the
Um,
orc says that many of the best places on the earth are in the middle of deserts, like a little oasis, and they should just try going over the desert and see what's on the other side.
The orc makes a really good point here because he's like, the way we came from is ocean for miles and miles.
There's no
that
point.
way is more of Mo. We know we don't want more Mo. Let's go over the desert. See what's over the desert.
Yeah.
So it's
And-
a good plan.
Yeah, it makes
I
sense.
mean, I'd
with
go
their
over the desert.
context. Yeah, because the desert has to end it. Well, I would probably ask the fucking mountaineer what's over the desert first, just to find out if he knew.
Yeah.
But barring that,
I might go to a town and Mo.
oh yeah, they have little towns down there that
Yeah.
they saw. But now they have 3 giant birds. They might as well get going.
Yeah, let's just go.
Yeah, and after meeting the first Moen, I'd be like, I don't need to meet any more Moens.
Yeah, we got the mountaineer. Who else lives here? But anyway, they or Captain Bill goes and asks Trot, like, hey, like, this is the idea, like, what do you think? And she's like, hey, that works for me. Let's just
I'm
go
down
across
to
the desert.
clown.
Yeah, like, whatever's clever, I'm down.
We are so lost that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like we
Um,
know the 2 places we don't want to be, so we just have to go that way. And then no one asks Button Bright, so that doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
because they're like, who cares what Button Bright thinks?
Yeah.
He's coming with
They
us.
say goodbye and thank you to the bumpy man because honestly, he was so hospitable. He was
Oh
really
yeah,
nice.
and
was.
so
Even though-
helpful.
Yeah, even though he's absolutely
Strange.
insane,
Yeah.
he was nice and great. Much better than Pessum.
Yeah, you
Um,
know, he lives a life that he knows, and you
Yeah.
can't blame him for that.
He's
And
alone.
For all
Mm-hmm.
we know, he might be saving his neighbors by talking to the mountain.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
don't know.
It
We
just
see
seems a
strange
little bit
things.
dramatic
He
for us,
asked-
but it's
Yeah.
fine.
He
Yeah.
asked them to stay. He was like, stay in Mo. Whereas like Pessum was like, "Well, you're fucking, you snore
yeah.
too loud and you eat too loud.
I mean, compared to Pessim, it's all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all good, I
no
guess.
one wanted to be around that.
But
Yeah.
so they hop on their swings, which I'm meant to understand they stand on.
No, I
Oh.
think they said.
Okay. I think they said stand. And then the orc starts up his tail, which scares the big birds. But they take off and off they go.
Yep, off into the wild blue yonder. And that is the end of chapter 8. Button Bright is lost and found again. And Blake, what would you call that?
The gang pops off.
Chapter 9. The Kingdom of Jinxland.
This chapter's insane.
Yeah.
So the ride on the birds, it's mostly comfortable for Trot, but it's a pretty unsafe situation. She has to hold on tight. Orc flies up front. Captain Bill and his bird are behind. Trot and hers are behind them. Button Bright is trailing in the back. And not long after setting off, they are already just high above the desert. Maybe it's Deadly Desert. I don't know.
And they look insane. Like, it's like 3 giant birds with the orc and then people on swings beneath them flying over this desert. And
It is giving the Hobbit, and we have
it
to.
kind of
we have to
is.
be
It's an
honest.
unexpected
gosh.
journey. And but there's no one there to see because they are over the desert. They are going, and Trot is like feeling a little uneasy because she's like looking down at the desert and she's like, "Oh my god,
It's
like
horrifying.
if like these birds lost their strength, or if the ropes failed, like
Yeah.
we're dead. But she trusts the birds.
Eh.
Trot
she
is
trusts how strong they are.
literally the chillest little girl in the world. Like the way that
And then she falls
the
asleep.
way that Dorothy is like, yeah, Dorothy's like, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah.
But like Trot is like, I could be dead right now. I don't know.
Trot, at
Yeah.
least something that I like is that she's less like Dorothy's so go with the flow that it's actually like not okay
Like, let's make a
sometimes.
decision.
Yeah, where Trot is like, this person's weird. This person's not right. I'm annoyed by this. We need a plan. Let's figure it out. But they're like still chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they have a plan.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
say-
that's what the open sea will do to a kid. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, all these people, I'm just going to say over and over again, they are planners. They think
Yeah.
6 steps ahead
I-
every single time.
I've really been enjoying Trot and Captain Bill. I've also really been enjoying the orc. And I can't wait for the Scarecrow of Oz to come into play
Oh.
here.
Where's the scarecrow?
Oh
We're
my God.
halfway through the
I
book.
thought this was called Captain Bill and Trot of Oz.
But like I cannot wait for them to interact with our chosen family
Well,
because oh my god.
That's not my chosen family.
The Osmonds? What are we doing here?
so anyway.
But L. Frank Baum, he says that like every minute feels like an hour, every hour feels like a day. And as they're going, the desert's emitting these fumes and sulfuric gases.
and they would be deadly if you were on the surface.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But because they're so high up in the sky,
Giving Mars.
it's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, it is. And it's kind of gross though. Like the fumes are like getting to Trot. She's starting to feel kind of queasy, and they've been going for like hours. But then she looks up, and a breath of fresh air hits her in the face, and she's like, "Ooh, thank God! I was about to fucking vomit."
Yeah.
And then she looks up, and there's this big pink cloud of mist. Yeah, because what could that be?
It
Poison.
doesn't feel good.
The orc dives into the cloud, and all the other birds follow him. Inside the cloud, it is so thick, the birds that are flying cannot see. The people riding on the birds cannot see.
But they basically just keep flying through, and like they just go in a straight line, and like pretty shortly thereafter, they come out on the other side, and Trot is amazed by what she sees.
She sees the most beautiful landscape she's ever seen in her life, extending as far as the eye can see. She can see every type of environment, like forest, hills, fields, rivers, lakes, waterfalls, pretty houses
And there's
scattered all through.
fountains, there's palaces and castles.
A yellow brick
It's
road.
beautiful. And there's one big... no, I'm just kidding. There's no yellow
Oh.
brick road. At least
There-
not that we know of yet.
Everything is like basking in this like rose gold glow. And the orc like does a big soaring circle over the land to like just to take in the view, and so that the people can take in the views, and so all the birds follow him, and so they all get this just like sweeping view of this beautiful place. And then they all land on the ground right at the border of the desert.
And so they all dismount, and Trot is like, thank fucking God we went this way. Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like, this is literally perfect. And Captain Bill says, yeah, like, it looks really nice, but, like, hopefully the people are also very nice. Because they
And
could
they
be
have
fucking
real food.
terrible. Oh, my
Yeah.
God, yes, yeah. And please say it's real food here.
Trot's like
Also, well, sorry. Go ahead.
Trot is just like, you can't live in a place like this without being good. And she's like, Button Bright, what do you think? Like, don't you think so? And Button Bright's like, I'm not thinking anything right now.
Yeah. He's like, thinking doesn't get you nowhere. And until we see the people, we don't know if they're good. And thinking about it won't change.
It's not going
that.
to change it. We're going to meet them. They're going to be good. They're going to be bad. Look at this place.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
nice. And the orc is like, yeah, you're right. Now, I actually have a proposal to
Oh my
make.
God. Hold on to your butts.
So he says, hey, I want to see if my home of Orkland is on the other edge of the desert. I'd like to go explore, see if I can find my home. And if it's there, obviously I will stay there. But if I can't find it, I'm going to come back here in 1 week. And like, if I can, and see if I can help you anymore, basically, or if you still need help. But like, I want to go away and then come back.
If we don't see the orc in a week, it means he found Orkland, which is great for him.
Or he got harpooned.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Or
Like,
he's
we
dead.
might never fucking know. And
But-
I'm like, even if you find Orkland, can't you come find us
Just
and
come
let us
back and
know?
tell us that
I mean,
you're
he was
safe.
lost once already, though, you know?
But if he's that close.
I guess you're right.
Anyway, Captain Bill, Trot, and Button Bright, like, they can't just tell him that he can't leave, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't owe them
Yeah.
anything.
There's no justification.
So-
They do have those 2 birds now
Yeah,
that
so
are their
3.
like slaves.
So they're like, "Hey, like we're
Wow.
we're really sorry to see you go. Like we don't want you to go, but like do what you got to do, man. Like that's your quest. You have to find Orkland. It's like Shaggy Man needs to find his brother.
Yeah.
Orc needs to find Orkland.
okay.
So
yeah.
they give him hugs, say goodbye, and they watch him fly off into the sky until they can't see
I
him
hope he comes
anymore.
back.
I know. I do
And-
too, actually.
I like Orkland. Or
I know.
or
I was
whatever
actually
his name
really
is.
starting to like the orc.
yeah.
And then the 3 birds are like, well, I guess we're your animal companions now. Just kidding. They're like, well, actually, we want to go home too, and we want
Oh.
to show our mom how big we got. And so,
You're not allowed back home.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The mom's like,
You
you
should
should
really, yeah, you
she's
should
gonna,
really stay
she's
with
gonna
us.
think you're a predator of her.
Your life
Yeah,
has changed forever.
But they are like, okay, birds, like, go do your thing. Like, bye.
Yeah, like, we're not going to keep you here. You're just
So-
beings.
So it's just
So
Captain,
they
So
fly
the
away.
3 birds fly back to
Captain Bill
to
and
Mo.
Trot now?
It's
And
Captain
Button
Bill,
Bright.
Trot,
Oh,
and
and
Button
Button Bright. That's right.
That's
But
our
yeah.
new gang.
Now
And
it's
I-
just the 3 of them.
I was floored by this. I was like, "Whoa, we got like new cool fucking birds. We have the orc. Like our gang is getting big. Cause last book we had like a gang of 35
Yeah.
people.
God, yeah.
Honestly, it's like,
But, like-
let's keep it short.
But
Yeah.
this one, I didn't want to see anybody leave though. Like I
Yeah.
want the orc to get like blessed by Glinda or whatever. you
I'm-
know?
Yeah, I would
I'm-
like to see everyone interact.
What I will say is that the orc does not come back in this chapter, but I'm hoping that he comes back and saves them from something.
He probably
in a
will.
week.
L. Frank Baum.
He has a magic
L. Frank
book.
Baum knows that.
Yeah.
we
Oh my
need him
God.
back.
He has
Yeah.
a magic
The-
book
He's
at
like,
home.
oh,
Yeah.
I got back to Orkland and I looked through my magic spyglass.
Yeah, and then I called you on my cell phone. and-
Late night when I need your love.
Yeah.
So yeah, now they're all alone and they just start walking toward this castle that they see in the distance.
Yeah, because they find a path and they think this
okay.
probably goes to the castle.
And this is what I was about to say earlier. It was like it says like they find like a nice cute little path and I was like, is it made of yellow brick?
That's true, and it
It
doesn't say.
Does
Ugh,
not
Just give
specify.
us some information. Come
But
on.
I just read Wicked and I am very anti yellow brick road.
Yeah.
Ah.
So they are walking on this little road. It's really pretty. Like it's scenery's beautiful. There's shrubs and bushes, and they crest this little hill, and they get to the top of it, and they see that there's a cottage, and it's surrounded by beautiful flowers, fruit trees, and on the porch there's this very kind-looking woman, and she's telling a story to this big group of kids.
Yeah, I'm like, how
so
big?
very picturesque.
What do you think? 15 less?
Maybe like 12,
Okay.
9 to 12.
Let's say 8.
Okay.
It's just too many kids at a certain point, you know.
That's
what I mean?
true.
Okay.
The kids actually notice the gang coming down toward them before the woman does, and they rush them. And they're like, "Oh my God, who are you? What's going on? Why does that guy have a wooden leg? What the heck is going on? What's going on?"
Oh, well, what they actually say is they wondered why the man didn't have 2 meat legs.
Oh, that is actually so
So
important.
we are in Oz.
So, yeah, L. Frank Baum's Oz
Not
brain just
really,
turned on, and he was like,
Confirms it.
meat leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Captain Bill is pretty amused by the kids and likes the fun attention that he's getting. And he tips his hat to the woman and he asks her what country they're in, please. And she stares hard at the gang and she's just like, Jinx Land.
And you might be wondering,
Mhm.
which is what Captain Bill also asks, is where is Jinx Land?
Oh my
Because,
What country are we in?
yeah, what country are we in?
Where is this?
But it happens to
Bitch.
be a little country by the name of Quadling Country.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
which Hannah, pop quiz. Is that north, east, south, or west?
Oh my god.
Having just read the Wicked books and claimed to love them, I'd expect you to know this.
Hannah
Just-
said she cried at the end of Wicked, but she doesn't seem to know where
Did she
quadling comes
cry because she realized she couldn't read?
How about that? So quadlings. Oh god, the quadlings were the ones that they went to. I'm gonna say it's. Fuck, who is in charge of the quadlings? Oh god,
Girl.
I'm making a guess.
Guess.
West.
That's the Winkies, dude.
Fuck. North.
Oh, that's the Munchkins.
North?
Oh wait, that's not the Munchkins.
Munchkins are in the east.
The Munchkins are in the east. North is the Gillikins,
Oh, that's
and south
so
is
they're south.
So this puts them in the south of Oz.
And
God damn it.
So when this woman says we're in the quadling country,
Who's in charge of the south?
Trot Glinda.
And
Damn
Yes.
it. I thought she was in
Also-
charge of the north.
side note, because that makes sense because of the movies, because
Yeah,
they
but
like
the
make
good
the,
the good witch of
Good
the
from
north is in charge of the north.
But yeah,
Oh, okay.
but as a side note, I was going to say this earlier. When they go through that big pink cloud, my theory is that in a prior book, supposedly, Glinda sealed off Oz to all other lands so that no one could even see it, so that no one could even get there. They wouldn't be able to get in there. It wouldn't be possible to get there.
Right, we're following.
I was like, am I hearing the
Sorry.
same thing over and over
No, you
again?
are.
I can only nod so many times.
Because of that, I think that pink cloud was the barrier, quote unquote, that was put around Oz. I don't know why they were able to go through it, but long story short, that is my theory. And because no one should have been able to get into Oz in general, we've already broken the rules. So I think we're in for a rule rewrite. But
That makes sense.
that's
to me.
that's
Yeah.
just the
well,
setup.
because
and what I would
I
have said.
thought that when we read the foreword and L. Frank Baum is like, I'm introducing Trot and Captain Bill to Oz. I was like, and how are you going to do that?
I
thought
mean,
they were
Betsy got in.
I thought that Oz. Oh, that's true.
But there were a lot of behind
Betsy
the scenes.
did not get there until Ozma decided to
Yeah.
bring her there. She didn't just
Exactly.
stumble in.
There was conversation about it.
yeah,
there was
Ozma made decisions.
But maybe
6 days of
maybe-
conversation about it.
Who fucking cares?
Who
But I'm
cares?
just like,
Who
you know,
cares?
maybe Glinda like made one little mistake, and they happen to go through that little
There's
tiny
one
mistake.
little cloud
Here's the thing,
hole.
though. This is crazy, because the woman says that they're in Quadling country. Trot's ears perk up, and she's like, "Wait, you mean this is the Quadling country in the marvelous land of Oz?" Just like Betsy.
Yeah. And
How?
the woman is like, yeah,
Where's
of
Betsy
course.
from?
Oklahoma or something.
Oklahoma, yeah.
Okay,
but
so
the
it's
woman, yeah,
Oz is worldwide.
the woman's like, of course this is Oz. And she tells him that everything surrounded by the Great Desert is the land of Oz. She also tells them that Jinxland is separated from the rest of Quadling Country by that wall of steep mountains that they see in the distance.
So just like Oogaboo, where it's like they're cut off, they can't even
So
really
they have
get
like
in.
their own ruler. But in Oogaboo, it was like you have your king and queen, but Ozma is still the ruler.
Yeah.
But here in Jinxland, they are so removed that their king is actually the king. Ozma does not pay
Well,
attention to this place.
you know,
'cause
and
the
that-
mountains, nobody can pass the mountains.
That
Doesn't
actually makes
matter.
sense because even at the end of it wasn't the last book, it was end of Patchwork Girl of Oz when they're like, okay, we're going to the South where like people might not even know about Ozma because it's
Right.
so foreign.
Right.
Like I guess so. These people are as far away from the Emerald City as possible while also being in Oz. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're probably living somewhere near the fucking spoons and whisks.
oh my
and
god,
The bunny tin.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
right.
Bunny Boy. But yeah.
But so Button Bright is like, I've been to the land of Oz before, but I've never been here. And she asks him if he's even heard of Jinxland, and he hasn't. And the woman is like, well, Jinxland is on the map of Oz, as a matter of fact. And
Okay,
it's
all about this talk of being on a map.
I know, what the fuck? And she, what the fuck, actually? L. Frank Baum must have just released the map of Oz that, like, we're very familiar with now, but,
Yeah.
like, he must have just made it. But she's like, we're on the map of Oz, actually, and Jinxland would be a very fine country if only...
If only that Jimmy Radcliffe hadn't left me at the altar.
Daniel
Oh,
Radcliffe.
now you're
No.
doing over the garden
Sorry.
wall.
It's,
No, but
it's
like,
nothing.
but she's just like, if only, and she like gets like a little conspiratorial, and she like looks around, and she's like, if only, and they're like, if only, and she's like,
Yes.
children, inside, and so she sends all the kids inside. She looks around again, and she's like,
What's going on?
if only we didn't all hate our king.
Who is he?
Well, so Trot is like, what's wrong with the king? And the woman at this point has already been
Ruggido.
nervous.
She's
That's
like,
my new theory.
she's
Okay.
like, I shouldn't have said so much.
Yeah. And she retreats back to her porch. And she's like, any citizen that's suspected of treason gets severely punished by the king.
Count on Button Bright to go, what's treason?
But Captain Bill is...
no.
Yeah. Captain Bill is like, in this case, treason is actually, it sounds like when you disrespect the king. So that must not be a
Yeah,
very
let's
good
just
thing.
not do that right now.
Yeah, he doesn't sound very good. But Trot goes over to the porch and she's like, hey, like, could you spare something to eat? Because all we have eaten is lemonade, popcorn, candy,
We're
fruit,
starving.
and one fish.
Yeah.
And the woman's like, oh my God, yes. Like, hold on a
And
second.
she like everything. She's like, dude, I will drop everything and do that.
Aw.
Yeah, she's
She
very sweet.
Comes, she goes into the
Jinklandians.
cottage.
Mhm.
She comes back with a full tray of sandwiches, cakes, cheese. One of the children
finally.
brings him a bucket of water that is crisp and cold, and they
Perfect.
sup.
Where's the orc? He wishes he was there now.
Oh, dude, the orc was like, I can't stay on this mountain if I'm not going to get water, and he left them before he got water.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, he got to the desert
know
and then went over the
They
desert
saw
again.
waterfalls, lakes, and rivers in the sky.
True.
He probably stopped.
True.
That's true.
So they all begin eating and drinking and enjoying it. They fucking love it. Button Bright finishes all of his food till he's so full, and then he fills his pockets with cakes and cheeses and little pieces of sandwich.
And the woman and the children are like, yeah, do that. No.
Yeah, they're like, please take
Take it.
all you can. And Captain Bill
So
is
sweet.
yes, they're all very, very kind. But Captain Bill is like, okay, like the king is terrible, but these people are really good. Like the king, like we'll find out about that, but all these folks down here are fine as paint.
Yeah. And Captain Bill asks the woman, he's like, so whose castle is that in the distance? Gee, I fucking wonder. And the woman is like, well, that belongs to His Majesty King Cruel.
Krewl, King Cruel.
So Captain Bill asks if King Cruel lives in the castle. What are these questions? What is this language?
I know. I was
Um,
like, the only thing I'm like, okay, like when you're a monarch, sometimes you own many palaces that you might not live in.
I think that's
I want to
probably.
know what he has done.
I know.
I
Let me know what he
know.
has
Why is he
done.
so scary?
Why is his name Cruel? Why is he a bad guy?
Why is his name Cruel?
So the woman is like, well, he lives in the castle when he's not out hunting with his fierce courtiers
People?
and war captains.
He's hunting people?
He's hunting something out
Is it
there.
Hunger Games?
So
Oh.
Trot's like,
I don't know.
is the king hunting now? And the woman opens her mouth to speak, and just then an arrow shoots past her face and lands in the wall
He
of
is
the
hunting
home.
people.
Just kidding.
Oh my
Trot
gosh.
asks if the king is hunting now, and the woman's like, don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like, I actually think it's safer to not know what the king is doing.
The
at a
less
moment.
people know, the safer they are.
And Captain Bill at this point is like, okay, let's not terrorize this woman anymore. So he stops asking
Yeah,
king
she's
questions.
stressed.
He says, thank you so much. Like, you've been so helpful, obviously. We're just going to get on our way. And Trot, so they get back on their path, which they had thought was going to the
Which
castle to
also,
begin with.
how Oz is it to sit down, have a conversation, eat lunch, and then be like, bye?
Yeah,
That
very
is like
Oz.
we are in Oz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that is
everyone there is
that.
like, we have unlimited food. We don't go hungry. We can't die.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
give you food.
Even if you live under King Cruel.
Yeah.
So as they're walking, Trot is asking Captain Bill. She's like, "So maybe we should probably like avoid that castle." And Captain Bill, I don't agree with this logic, but he's like, "Hey, King Cruel's gonna find out that we're in his kingdom anyway, so let's just face the music."
How?
Which, yeah, I'm like,
Tell
let's
me
just
how.
walk through. Let's walk through. Let's go to the
keep
mountain.
Going. I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah, let's climb every mountain, ford every stream. So Captain Bill says that King Cruel might not be so bad anyway, because kings aren't always very popular among their people, even when they're doing a good job.
And Button Bright is like, well, Ozma is very popular.
Trot says that Ozma is the one who's really in charge, and that she's never heard of anyone getting hurt in a place that fell under Ozma's rule. And Button Bright agrees, but he's also like, those birds should have just carried us over those mountains and
Yeah.
took us to the Emerald
Just
City.
just.
And Captain Bill's like,
But also, how far should they go? Because what if the orc does come back?
That's what I was
right.
thinking. I'm like,
Like,
the
he'll
orc
find them.
then has to
You
find
think
them.
I
Oh
don't
my
know
God.
how, but he'll find them.
How?
I guess he will figure it out. He's pretty
It was
smart.
his plan. He didn't.
Yes.
What did he think they were
can
going to
talk to
stand
people
there?
Too. He can
Yeah,
talk
he'll
to
figure
everybody.
it out.
But like, yeah, Button Bright's like, they should have carried us over those mountains, and Captain Bill's like, but they didn't.
Yeah, he's
Whoa.
like, that would have been great.
We're all trying to like do a thing. We're all trying to be like cool with each other. So like, don't.
The way you gasped and went, whoa, hey, big guy. Oh my God.
That's how I would be in that situation. I'm
But-
like, no. We don't talk to each other like that.
No, we're
Well,
family.
Captain Bill, he's like, look, we just got to make the best of Jinxland while we're here. We need to not be afraid.
Who's saying this?
Captain Bill. And Button Bright like stops to watch this little pink rabbit running around the field, and he's like, I'm not scared. And Trot is like, no, I'm not
That's what
scared
does it.
either. She's like, I just feel lucky to be anywhere inside the magic fairyland of Oz.
Oh, she's obsessed.
A
Oh,
little
God.
bit.
Now that's a stand.
Yeah, she's going crazy. It's giving like going to Disney World.
She's like,
She's like, I don't
What's
care
gonna
'cause I'm
happen when
here.
she meets Ozma?
It is like Disney World,
God.
because literally Trot is like, Dorothy lives in the Emerald City, so does the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, TikTok, the Shaggy Man, the rest of them, Ozma,
What
Ozma.
would you guys do
and then
if you met any of those guys, like in real life? Like, let's say they were real.
I'd be like, please take me to Oz. Let me live forever with you in this magical fairyland. I'll do anything.
I don't think I'm nice enough to live in Oz full time.
I think I would pull out all of the Scarecrow's hay.
Just because.
Just to test him.
Oh my God.
And then I would light a match.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
dude, Ozma and Glinda are gonna open up a can of whoop ass on you.
Yeah, I will. I will make it out
so
alive.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
I'll take the Tin Woodsman with me.
First thing I do when I get to the Emerald City, I'm looking for Ombi. We have things to talk about.
He's not safe around you.
No. But yeah, I mean, Trot is just going off about all the people in Oz, and Button Bright is like, Jesus Christ, Trot, chill the fuck out. Like, you don't have to say it all in one breath. We know who's in Oz. We get it.
And Captain Bill is like, hey, like, just in general, like, let's not get our hopes up too much because these mountains, we've been told, are impassable. And they are like so actually huge and foreboding that we're really not closer to the Emerald City now than we were in California. Like, it's like we are not any closer because it's impossible.
And they realize how true this is, which
And they all get depressed.
yeah, it ruins everyone's fucking joy, and they walk on in silence.
Well, if anyone actually knows anything about Oz, they know that there's powerful wizards and sorcerers here.
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
they will be able to figure out how to
They
get,
should-
you
Get me home.
They should just be
Exactly.
shouting out Ozma's name.
if you
Do
know,
they know
if you
Dorothy's
know
story?
who Dorothy is, then you know she got sent home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you know who Button Bright is, then you know that Santa Claus took him home personally.
Yeah.
God, I forgot about that.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God. Santa Claus and the
Oh.
panda.
And that must be how Button Bright, or that must be how Trot knows about Oz because she knows Button Bright.
Oh yeah, probably. Or the Oz books. That's how Betsy knew.
Yeah, but well, that's how we assume Betsy knew.
Oh.
I hate that though.
But after they have been walking for a little while in silence, they are approaching this like grove of really pretty trees. I imagine them being alder trees, but that's just my own mind. And it's like getting pretty. It's like the border of the castle grounds. So they're like, cool, like we're almost there. They're entering this like grove of trees. And as they're entering, they hear something. It's someone sobbing and crying and like just like going crazy. And they're like, what the fuck is that? And they stop to listen.
It's the telegram.
Oh, the fucking phonograph.
Yeah, there we go.
It's the telegram.
The trailer.
But that is the end
Oh.
of chapter 9. The Kingdom of Jinxland. Und Bluk. Das.
I'm gonna call that Oz at last.
Thank God.
Where's the Scarecrow?
It's nearby. I hope.
Thank you for listening to Oz Hour. Please join us next time as we continue with Chapter 10, Pawn, the Gardener's Boy. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Oz Hour Podcast for the latest on everything Oz. Oz Hour, created and hosted by Blake Stone and Wyatt Swingham, co-hosted by Hannah Aguirre, audio production by Charlie Johnson, theme music written and performed by Rudy Klobus, cover art by Valentin Lucas.